Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. For today's video, I'm going to be talking about reflecting on your work. So I guess this could be reflecting on your clinical work or reflecting on your work in general. In the video, I'm going to talk about why reflecting on your work is useful, why it's something that we kind of want to be doing or practicing, what different reflective models you could use to help you to reflect on your work. And then finally, I'm going to take you through my Notion page, show you how I use it to reflect on my own work. Yeah, that's what it's going to be all about. As always, if you like this video, then please do hit the like button below. If you haven't already, subscribe, join the crew, and then you can keep up to date on all of the videos I put out. So let's start off then. Why is it actually helpful to get into the practice of reflecting on your work? So I guess the first point, which might seem kind of obvious, but the first really important point is it helps you learn about yourself. So you, by reflecting on your work, reflecting on the week that's just been, you will learn what kind of things make you tick, what kind of things drain your energy, what kind of things you find easy, what kind of things you find more challenging, where are maybe some points for development that you could be working on. So it's a really good way of keeping in touch with yourself, keeping in touch with where you are, and really figuring out what works for you. And I guess especially early on in your career, this could be a really useful way of kind of trying to figure out exactly what you want to do. Like if you're kind of keeping a record of or reflecting on the things that are making you tick or the things that really drain your energy, then you can use that to help guide your job applications and direction in the future. So another reason why it's important is if you're applying to jobs where you're working with patients, or if you're applying to doctorate courses, for example, the clinical psychology doctorate, then the skill of being able to reflect on your work is something that they look for, and it's really important to be able to show that you have that skill and what it's taught you. For example, people say that when you're preparing for the clinical psychology interview, you want to bring one good case and one bad case that you've reflected on to be able to kind of talk about in the interview setting. So useful for jobs and doctorate courses. And thirdly, it's just really useful to improve your work. Like, for example, if you're working with patients, being able to reflect on that situation, what went well, what didn't go well, what did I bring into the room, what can I maybe do differently next time, what did that patient make me feel, why did that patient make me feel that, what was going on? So it's a really good way of actually just improving your work, improving your clinical work, improving your kind of relationship work with other people. So yeah, those are some reasons why reflecting on your work could be a useful thing to do. If you've got any others, let us know in the comments below. Yeah, so now let's talk about reflective models. How do we reflect? What models can we use to help us in this reflective practice? The first model that you could use for reflection is the GIBBs reflective cycle. Now, if you've done a psychology degree of some kind, you might have come across this before, but it's a really good model as a kind of starting point to help you reflect on your work. So in this model, there are 6 different kind of aspects of it. There's description, feelings, evaluation, description, conclusion, and action plan. So when you're thinking about a situation that you want to reflect on, you can go through those kind of 6 areas and use that as a really nice framework of being able to think about the situation in lots of different ways. Now, there are some websites online which explain this in more detail, so I've linked one of them below, and in that there are lots of different questions within each of those categories that can be really nice prompts to help you in thinking about the situation. Now, I do think that this reflective cycle is quite complex. It needs you to think quite a lot and go kind of quite deep into the situation, which is good in a lot of regards. I think, especially if you're new to reflection, then it's a really good place to start to get you practicing those skills, to get you thinking about the right kind of things. But like if we were in an interview or even writing an application, I think that this one has just a little bit too much to it. You know, when you're already nervous at an interview, to try and think of all of those 6 different areas is quite a lot. So instead of the GIBBs reflective cycle, another slightly easier reflective model that you could think of is the Rolf reflective model. Now this one is super simple. It's literally what, so what, now what. And again, I've linked a website down below which goes into more detail on all of those different categories. But yeah, what, so what, now what. And in my opinion, in terms of if you were writing a job application or you were doing an interview, that one feels the easiest to bring to the forefront of your mind in those situations. Whereas GIBBs is a really good way of really delving into your work from all different aspects in a maybe kind of more personal, less time restraint situation. So now let's talk about what I do. How do I reflect daily, weekly in my practice? What do I actually do? So one of the ways that I do this is I use a program called Notion. Now, if you haven't heard of Notion before, get to know. It is, well, it is my favorite thing ever. It's like my second brain. There are so many useful things that you can use it for. It does take a little bit of time to set up, but there's loads of videos online, loads of templates that you can use. So if after watching this video, this looks like something that interests you, I'll put some videos in the description box down below of other people using Notion and templates, etc. But everything that I'm showing you in this, you don't necessarily, firstly, you don't have to use Notion to reflect in this way. The prompts and the way that I do this could easily just be done in a notepad. Secondly, if you do want to use Notion or you want to use the prompts or the templates that I've got here, then you can duplicate the templates, and I can show you how to do that. But you can duplicate the templates and copy them into your own Notion page. So let's get into it. Here you can see this is my kind of journal homepage. Now I've called it journal demo because I've just duplicated my normal journal homepage and taken out all of the detail, because obviously I don't really want you guys seeing all of my personal reflections / reflections on patients that I've seen. So here is my work / clinical. And you can see here that it says journal database. So if you click on this, this is like my overall database of my different types of journals. And I like to have this here. As you can see both weekly and daily journals. And I like to have this here because if there was a certain topic that I wanted to search for, I've then got all of my journals in one place here that I could do that search. So I'll explain more about that in a minute, but if we go back, so here is my daily journal. I've got this table, and this table is linked to that other journal database that you see, that you can see here, linked journal database. And I've basically filtered it. So press filter. I filtered it so that only my daily journals show up here. So I've got my daily journals and I just put the date. I have some topics of the kind of things that came up. So let's say, so you can just add in a topic of something that came up. That could be useful for you to be able to find kind of relevant journal entries later on. So if we open up, so here, if I just press add, my day professional template will come up. So here you can see morning, and I've got some things I want to achieve. I've got how can I make today better than yesterday? And then I've got a 1 to 2 word intention that I'm going to try and keep to for the day. Then afternoon, write a little note about what went well, what could I have done better, and any personal or professional resonances that kind of came up throughout the day. And the reason that I added in this last question is because last year when I had a clinical psychology interview with East London, they kept asking about personal and professional resonances. which, I don't know, the way that they worded it kind of threw me off. So I thought I'll put the wording in here so that it's something that I think about more. So that's the daily journal. If you wanted to create another page, you could basically, you click here, press duplicate, and then it will duplicate that template, that page, and you can open up, change the date up here. Oop. And then, as I said before, you just press this, which is a template I've created already, and the whole template will come up. So let's just talk for a second. If you didn't like that template, or you wanted to create your own template, you could adapt that template by clicking on this settings thing here. And so you can change the name of it by going here, and you can change the actual content of the template by changing any of this down here. And then you could just press close. And then whenever you duplicate the page, you just press that and the template will come up. So that's my daily journal. Now let's go on to the weekly journal. So here we've got the weekly reflective journal, and as you can see, I've only actually put one entry in the weekly with the weekly select tool so far. So let's open this up, and here you can see the weekly reflective journal is already, the weekly reflective journal template is already there. So this is where I might make a note of different things that come up throughout the week that I want to remember for my reflection session at the end. So to add another thing onto this list, you press the dash button, and then there's all of these different options here of things that you want. So I like to do for this one a toggle, and then you can type something, I don't know, and then when you press it, you can put it down and reflect kind of underneath there. So that's where I would do the actual reflection, and then you press that and it goes back up. So here I've got the framework that I like to use. Now you could change this to the GIBBs reflective cycle or whatever other frameworks you want. Here then I've got some prompts, some things to help me to figure out what to think about. And then down here are more general prompts of just like reflecting on the week. Now, I don't answer all of these different prompts when I'm reflecting on these points up here, but it's just an idea of different things to think about, different things to help your brain kind of get going. So now, just quickly, I'll take you back here. And the reason that I have created an actual journal database as opposed to just having those kind of two, weekly journal and daily journal, separate, is because when you create a table like this in Notion, you can sort and you can filter. So if I was interested in a certain topic, I could press filter, go down here, maybe click community work, and then all of the journal entries that have that topic branch associated with it will come up. So that's the reason that I want all the daily and weekly in one place, so that if I need to search by a certain topic, I can do that super easily just through this journal database. So super quickly, let's just talk about how you would duplicate this page. So I've put a link to this template of this journal page down in the description box. So when you click on that link, up in the top right hand corner here, you will see a copy or duplicate or something like that, I can't remember exactly, icon up here. So you would just press that and it gives you the option to copy into your own Notion. So you would just press go, and then the whole thing just copies over into your own Notion, and then you could adapt it and do whatever you want in a way that's going to be really helpful for you. So yeah, that's a little bit about how I use Notion. There are lots of other ways that I use Notion. I mean, if we go back here, you can see I've got a home page and loads of different things on there. So if you wanted a another video about other ways that I use Notion and the reasons why I love it so much, then more than happy to make that video. If Notion isn't for you, then obviously that's so fine. Those journal prompts and that way of thinking about the weekly prompts and the daily prompts are something that you could quite easily just do on a piece of paper or in a Word document or anywhere that's going to work for you. If you are interested in using Notion, go down to the description box below. I've got a link there where you can set up your own account, and as a student or as a single person setting up an account, I believe Notion is free. But if you were like a team or a business and you wanted to set up a Notion account so that you can all kind of access the similar pages and comment on each other's things, I think you have to pay, but I don't know how much. But go down to the link below and you'll be able to see it all there. So yeah, anyway, that is my reflections video. I hope that you enjoyed watching. I hope that there were some things in there that were useful for you, some ideas that you can kind of take away and think about. I'll be really interested to know whether you reflect on your work. Is there anything interesting that you've learned from reflecting on your work? Do you find reflecting easy or do you find it difficult? Some people really struggle with reflecting, and that's okay. If you like this video, make sure to like and subscribe to my channel. Take care of yourselves, and hopefully I'll see you back here for the next video. Bye.